Well, hi YouTube. Last video I made a review or a presentation of the WeKnife 617A, which I still am extremely pleased with. It is, as I said in that video, my most expensive knife, so you kind of expect that you get something special when you give top dollar, for me top dollar anyway, but still it is also very funny for me anyway, very exciting to try to find some gems at a lower price range. So today I thought I'd present one of my cheapest knives, and this is the Wifestar Jin02, which is of course a Chinese knife. It is, to me, it was about, I think, about 15 euro, which is about the same amount in dollars. So it was a bit different from the WeKnife, but anyway, if you watched my unpacking video, you saw that I was extremely pleased with this one right out of the box. It is, I can tell you right now, I think it's sort of what I call a gem, you know, when you get something extra for a reasonable price. I'll just go through the knife very shortly, and as you can see, it is an axis lock. The blade is very simple. It is a flat grind, rather thin, which I guess makes it a good slicer. If you go to the handle, you can see it's a sort of a beefy handle. I don't know, I can try to compare it with the WeKnife. It's sort of the same, but it's a beefy little knife. But it is, to me, I like this, that is a little, that it fills the hand a little bit, and the ergonomics are extremely well. It just sits right in my hand, and as you know, hands are different, so perhaps not your hand, but to me it is rather nice in hand. If you look at the handle here, the liners are quite thick. I don't know if you can see it, but it's milled out inside, so we preserve a bit of weight. And the pocket clip is rather deep carry with some spacers, so there will be room for an extra bit of, if you have thick pocket linings. You can see it's completely open for easy maintenance, and a lot of spacers, which it is quite sturdy in hand. The action, it is an axis lock. Axis locks, I don't know, perhaps not my favorite. I actually think I like flippers better, but this one is actually quite okay. As you can see, it has a very long sort of detent. The axis lock makes the detent on these knives, but it starts almost 45 degrees, I think, right around here. And it has a very, as I said, very strong detent, but also kind of smooth, so it still flips quite easily. And the blade is free falling. I have not taken this knife apart or lubricated or anything, but it is quite smooth out of the box. As I said, sturdy knife, cheap. You would consider this to be a good beater, I think. I tried a little bit of spine whacking and no blade play. Just a little bit. That's a point I'll make. The pivot screw does tend to loosen itself, but you can see that as a good thing as well, because a lot of companies are beginning to use this Loctite shit, and which makes it almost impossible to take these knives apart or without stripping the screws. But this one is not Loctited, I think, so the pivot screw does tend to loosen a bit, and you can tighten it, although it looks a bit proprietary. You can tighten it with a, what do we call it, straight edge screwdriver. I'll just show the pivot screw right here. You can quite easily tighten it or loosen it with a screwdriver, and I actually think I might be, I just tightened it. I might be able to loosen it with a nail, but I don't want to break my nails. But if it turns out to be a problem, I have a bit of blue Loctite, and I'll just simply put a bit of that into the knife. That doesn't lock the screw completely, but it makes sure that it stays where it should be. So blue Loctite is recommendable, not red, or which I've seen in some cases, some white permanent Loctite, which tends to make you strip out your screws. The lock is quite stiff. I could take it apart and loosen the spring a bit, but then, it's always, with this, it's a sort of a compromise, because if you loosen the spring, you loosen the detent. So I think I'll just leave it the way it is. And I might demonstrate once again, it is free falling. This one, some people have commented that the V knife, which I showed before, is one of the sharpest knives right out of the box that they have that they got, me included. But this one, well, I haven't had much success with cutting tests on video, but I will try, because this one is very close to the V knife when it comes to sharpness out of the box. Let's just try. It's a bit more difficult behind camera, I have to admit, but as you can see, and the V knife, just for comparison, something else the same. If I can, I find it quite impressive. Do I think this is important? Yeah, of course I do. If you buy a knife, you expect it to be sharp. I make these reviews, I hope, so that also new buyers can get something out of them, and I don't think that every new buyer wants to. The first thing he has to do is to sharpen his knife. So to me, sharpness is a very important point when you take the knife out of the box. I know, as I said, some experienced collectors might just put their own edge on every new knife, but that's not the way that new buyers think. So Now I'd like to comment on the fit and finish. As you might have seen from the previous pictures, everything is nicely aligned. Pocket clip, it looks a bit, I don't know, the standoffs, it's okay, but it's a nice thought anyway. They actually made a bit of jimping here. No, what do I call it? No sharp edges on the lining anywhere. Well thought through, I think. If you look at some studs not sitting out in the middle of the knife so that you can't cut anything, put nicely all the way back. The only sharp edge might perhaps be these the access locks, a bit sharp in the edges, but not nearly as much as, for instance, a Ganso knife. So that was actually right out of the box, and when I unboxed it, that was what impressed me really much. How well fit and finish was on this knife, and how well it sits in the hand. And you can easily grab it like this, and the full cut actually is quite nice. No, yeah, perhaps I can, but if you have a little larger fingers, you can't really choke up on this one. This is a sharpening choil, I think, and nothing more. So, all in all, very recommendable knife. I am really glad I found this. I think it would be what you call a gem, really, honestly. If you look at the blade centering, yeah, almost perfect. At least not worse than many more expensive knives that I have. So, really what I consider a very nice knife. I'll be very happy to carry this one because it feels quite nice, and you know, if something happens to it, I won't cry myself to sleep because it is rather inexpensive, but it's a knife that I love so much that I actually already bought another one, and I will buy the Jin02 as well, and I might make a review about that one, because I'm really impressed with the Wifestar knives so far. And I'm sorry, but now my tongue is twisting, so I'll stop here. I'll hope you will have a very nice day, evening, whatever it is in your country. So, with that, bye-bye.